it's probably going to be a shorter video, but I'm really excited for this one because what I want to do is try and make a magnetic panel on the lid of the Ottoman so that my handheld mirror, the hairpin tin that I have, and then another little tin that I have for hair bands, and then maybe even my abuela's little box. I use this for things which are kind of important to me, have sentimental value. So I've got my wedding earrings in here, and then a necklace that Ottoman bought me when we were dating, and I keep them safe in here. But I want to put them all up on a little magnetic panel up here, and I got the idea for this because my husband was doing a declutter of his work desk the other day, and for some reason he had a load of little magnets. There must be a good 50, 80 magnets in here, and he came downstairs and asked if there was anything I could use these for, and at first I thought nah, but just I'll take them. And then I started thinking, I thought, hang on, I can use this, I can turn this into a magnetic panel. So that is what I'm going to do today. Though I should point out, if you want to recreate something like this, you could also just get a cheap little magnetic pin board and just use that. That will do the same trick, but I don't have that, I have this, so this is what I'm going to use. So to make the front of the panel, what I ended up using was a piece of cardboard that came through the mail. And the reason I went for this is because it was the only thing that I had, and I'm trying to save the cork for a few other things. And I like that it was cold pressed and really thick. I didn't want to put anything which could possibly scratch the back of the tins. I did have some wire mesh which would have worked very well, but it was scratchy for me to even touch. So on things like the hairpin box that I painted, I was worried that it would get completely destroyed. So I thought, let's just reuse some cardboard. It's thick enough to be strong and not to fold completely, will hold the magnets back, and it will look nice, so why not use that? Once I'd given it 2 coats, I cut it down to size, and then I started sticking down the magnets. At first what I did is I did dots, but this was just far too long-winded, and by the time I got to the end, the glue had already hardened a little bit too much. So instead what I did is just did a very quick line, and then put the magnets down as quickly as I could. Clean up that somehow. The fabric didn't quite cover it. It might just be a case of pulling it back a little bit further, or I can paint it. But now for the moment of truth. Let's see if this works. First thing I'm going to do is my box of hairpins. Ah! It works! Okay, and these. Okay, this is promising. My abuela's little... Nah, that doesn't surprise me, this is heavy. Okay, so that doesn't work. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see. Okay, it works on the front, but I did think I needed to attach a little magnet to this. So as it is, I have a little piece of metal that I can attach here. So this is left over from our bedside table lamps. I don't like having things out on the bedside table, so I got these little magnetic ones that you can recharge and they just stick underneath. But I had a spare little tab from it, so I'm going to use that. And I knew this would come in handy. I'm so glad I kept it. With a lot of the craft things that I save, I try and have a rule of keeping it for 6 months. If I haven't used it in 6 months, then I'll get rid of it, because otherwise it's just too easy to end up with junk. But in this case, it was the right thing to do. Oh, that's awesome. All right, Let's see how well it closes. And it's still attached. It worked. And that's how it looks now. I think it looks awesome. That turned out so well. I painted up the little area that you could see in the corner before. So now once that's dried, that's all done, but I can't believe how well that worked out. The last thing I need to do before the lid is finished is figure out what to do with this area. Part of me wants to make a little netted bag thing just for stuff like my headbands, but the thing is I only have 2 headbands and they're absolutely fine just slotted under here. That works perfectly for me. But what doesn't work perfectly is, for the moment, I've got things like my foundation, the jade roller, my exfoliating brush, and then the anti-chaffing powder, which I use in hot weather if I want to make sure that I don't look too oily or my skin doesn't look too oily. I'm very tempted to just make something so that all that can be slotted up here, a little bit like what I've done with my brushes. I'm not sure, so I'm going to think about it. I've got plenty of time to think about it and hopefully not make a bad decision. I'm kind of leaning towards the idea of making something for this first. The headbands don't really need to take up all that space, and they're perfectly fine just slotted under the tray. So that's what I'm leaning towards for the moment. But for today, I've got another part of the Ottoman done. It looks awesome, and I think I'm not that far from being done. If you like my content and want to follow me on Patreon, that's where you can find my early content, extra content, and see the thought process behind things like my books, cover designs, videos, and artwork. You can also find me on Instagram, but the best place to follow me and make sure that all my new content is sent directly to you is through my website and the mailing list. On the top right-hand corner, you put your name, the email you want your new content to be sent to, and that's it. You're done.